Welcome to the Deep Dive. Okay, so you're here because you want to get smart fast on the Manchester United transfer talk. We're focusing specifically on Cunha and Delap potentially coming into that front line. We've got some analysis here looking right at these moves. Our mission, pretty simple. Pull out the key insights, the opinions on these signings, and maybe what else United need up top. All without, drowning you in gossip. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, and what jumps out straight away is Cunha being in the conversation. I mean, this analysis really considers him, puts him in the frame for a strong side. He's mentioned alongside Ibrahimo and Rodgers. Now, Rodgers, fantastic season, obviously. But Ibrahimo's numbers were just huge.
Right.
So the context suggests Cunha isn't like just a maybe. He's seen as someone who could actually make a difference at that level.
Exactly. And it mentions he was looked at earlier in the season, but then that ban hit, and he missed quite a few games in the second half. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Did that pause things for United, or was his earlier form strong enough?
And they really highlight his impact, too, comparing Forrest's position to Wolves when he was playing. That description of him, as a floating player in that inside left pocket, it gives you a real picture of how he operates.
Absolutely. That kind of versatility, it's gold dust in today's game. And the fact that someone directly observed his fantastic performances, well, that adds weight. It's more than just looking at stats. He's clearly caught the eye. Now, shifting over to Delap, this is where the discussion gets, pretty interesting. Because the question pops up, if United get Cunha and Delap, what else do they actually need in that front three? And that's where we get a really strong opinion from the source material.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. The speaker basically says flat out, I don't think Delap should go to Man United. Quite a firm stance there.
Very firm. And the reasoning seems to be about that jump, going from a team implied to be struggling, maybe near relegation, to the absolute intensity of Manchester United. That phrase, eyes and ears, really captures it, the scrutiny.
It does. It's about the environment, isn't it? And whether that's the right place for a young player right now. Now, they do acknowledge the argument that, Delap would probably be an upgrade on Highland.
Okay.
But there's this underlying concern, this feeling that maybe, just maybe, he'd develop better elsewhere for now. At Ipswich, where he was the main guy, everything goes through him. That feeling of being central, being one of the best players there.
Right. The big fish, smaller pond idea, build confidence, be the focal point.
Exactly. So the suggestion is maybe an intermediary step, like a Champions League level team or one consistently competing near the top. Get that experience of being the main man at a higher level before stepping into the cauldron of Old Trafford.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're like stages of development.
Yeah.
But the source does say, the fans would get behind him. He's young, exciting. You'd expect that.
Of course. But then there's the reality check. Thinking about recent history, even experienced players have found United a very tough place to play recently. So that point about needing resilience, being truly ready, it's not just talk. You really need that mental strength.
Absolutely. And it ripples outwards too, doesn't it? What about the current guys? You've got Handlin signed for, 70-odd million? Xerxes for 30-odd million? If you bring in Cunha, bring in Delap, where does that leave them? Do they just move on?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? The source mentions, past examples, Sancho, Anthony, Rashford potentially leaving. It shows how quickly things can change in a top squad. It's not just about adding players. It's about managing the whole group.
A complex balancing act.
Definitely. It's about building a team, not just collecting talent. How do they fit? What are the roles? These potential signings raise all those questions.
And then there's this other layer, Delap's connections inside United now, with people like Jason Wilcox coming in, Omar Barada.
Right. That's significant. Wilcox worked with Delap directly, apparently has a big say now, and Barada knows him from City.
So there's presumably good knowledge there.
Yeah.
Not just his skills, but his character.
Yeah. The source highlights that a good understanding of his game and a good understanding of his character. That's helpful, surely. Suggests they're looking at the whole picture, but, and it's a big but, the source comes back to it. Manchester United is a different animal.
Yeah.
That history, that pressure, knowing him before doesn't guarantee success there. It's just a unique environment.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. Our deep dive shows the report is pretty positive on Cunha. Could be an interesting, impactful signing. But then Delap. Well, that's where the opinions really diverge. A strong argument against him making that immediate jump, concerns about the pressure, his development path, and, the knock-on effects for the current squad.
Exactly. Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. We've heard the reports, the opinions, the sort of personal perspectives maybe influencing things from inside the club. So considering all that, what do you think is the most vital thing for a player, not just to sign for United, but to actually succeed there, given that unique pressure we've talked about? Is it just pure talent? Is it experience? Is it that resilience, that personality? Or maybe something else entirely?
Definitely something to think about as we see how this transfer window plays out.